let's do that. All right, so welcome to today's Power Hour. I'm your host, Mindy Wonder-Aquario, and we are going to talk about, like I said, mindset and content creation, and then I'm going to let you guys go apply the things that you learn. Okay, so let's just talk about mindset first. And this is probably like a no-brainer, but guess what? I hear things probably on a daily that I was like, oh, I should probably know that. And I do know that, but I needed that refresher. So maybe this is a reminder for you, or maybe you needed this aha moment. So let me see if I can read the exact thing. I wrote down this quote that I heard. Okay, I did. If someone says, I don't like content creating, so that could be like, I don't like writing blogs. I don't like writing Facebook posts. I don't like creating reels. Insert whatever the thing is you hate, basically. So if somebody says, I don't like creating content, that's truly like saying they don't think it's important to gain new customers so they could serve them. When you start thinking of content creation like that, doesn't it make you think like, oh, okay, I'm not going to say I hate making reels anymore. I'm not going to put it off anymore, because literally you creating a reel is actually you attracting the person who needs what you have to offer, attracting to them into your circle, so then you could serve them. And by serving them could mean, if you guys were on the last time I spoke, recommending a great book, recommending, oh, I got this from Amazon, or hey, guess what else you have in your toolbox? Freaking a healthy lifestyle. And so, and by the way, when you get these people start coming into your circle, I think it's a lot easier for other people in network marketing that maybe are selling shampoo. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know what it would be like. I've never sold shampoo before, but I'm just saying you are talking to these people and that are coming into your circle about you're going to have to do some hard work to change your daily habits. And those habits are, you're going to have to start eating better. I'm recommending if you want to have more energy, you want to feel better, you want to live longer, you want to be able to have fun with your children, and you want to have like all of the things that we have to offer is just mind blowing. And like, I get emotional even thinking about it. But that stuff that we are sharing and serving other people with, that stuff isn't as easy as clicking buy now for a shampoo that you're going to use, that you use shampoo anyway. So when you get these people in your circle and they're not buying from you right away, don't allow yourself, because it's very hard, but don't allow yourself to get discouraged. They're going to need to see you leading by example, talking about it, making content around it and the benefits from it. And I want you to start, the second part of this is your messaging. So there's a couple questions that you can ask people when you want to get the right verbiage for your content creation is poll your audience, create a survey with 5 questions and make sure you tell your audience, could you do me a favor? It's only 5 questions. Because if you just say, I have a survey for you, if that were me, I'd be like, oh, no, I'm not signing up for a 20 question survey. But if somebody said 5 questions, I could do a 5-question survey. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you lead with that. Otherwise, just put it out on your stories. That's what I did. Put a question box on your story and say, hey, could you guys do me a favor? I'm doing some research. And then ask these questions. Hang on real quick. Let me pull them up here. Okay, question number 1. And write this down because I want you to poll your audience, and you can do this often. You can do this often. What are you struggling with? Number 1. What are you struggling with? And you can, I want you guys to edit these questions because it could be like, what are you struggling with nutrition? Because we all have like a different niche. You know what I'm saying? We all have a different niche. So whatever your niche is, so if you're somebody who is always posting about healthy desserts or nutrition, or if you're more of like the fitness side of it, or like whatever is your niche, ask these people, what are you struggling with the most when it comes to nutrition? Or if you want to just keep it blank, you could say struggling with, but I think you kind of have to lead the witness a little bit. It makes them easy. It makes it less daunting for them to think, okay, I have to answer this question. I have to come up with what is it? But if you make it really specific, it helps them to answer it quicker, and it seems easier for them to answer. And then number 2, what are your goals? What are your goals? And you, again, edit this. What are your goals when it comes to nutrition? Is it cutting out sugar? Is it, so help them a little bit with that. Number 3, what is standing in your way of your goals? So again, you're going back to finding out their pain points. Okay. So this is going to help you guys. This is really going to help you with your messaging when you content create. This is going to basically do your content for you. Literally going to do your content for you. It's amazing. Okay. So what is standing in your way? And tell them to list as many things as they want when it comes to your goals. And then number 4, if you could wave a magic wand, this is a great question. If you could wave a magic wand and achieve those goals, how would you show up differently? And you can reword that differently. So it sounds like you, right? But if you could wave a magic wand and you achieved all those things that you just told me were your goals, what would your life look like? What would your day in the life look like? Like, what would you be doing? How would you what would you look like? What would you feel like? What would you do? How would you show up differently every single day? Isn't that a great question? Here's why that's a great question. And this is so good, guys, because what you're doing is you're actually helping them think about their future self. And when somebody, including you and I, guys, when we can actually visualize and like take the time to sit down and think about ourselves as our future self that we're striving to be, and you get all the feels, don't you? You feel like, oh gosh, what would my life look like? Okay, well, first of all, I go to brunch with my husband after, you know what I mean? Like we think about the things, whatever that is for you, but how fun is that? So what you're doing them a favor, even if they never buy anything from you. That's not the goal here, guys. Our goal is to serve whatever way possible. If they end up buying from us, great. If they end up joining our team, great. If they end up just being a friend of ours on social media and following us, that's great too. Our job is just be here to serve, and God will have everything else fall into place. Okay, so the last one is, what questions do you have for me in blank area? What questions do you have for me in the area of nutrition? What questions do you have for me in the area of goal setting? What questions do you have for me in fitness? Or whatever it is, menopause. I mean, whatever your niche is, kind of be more specific for them. So those are questions that was really going to help you do this. And like, again, you could do this on your stories, or you could do this, create a survey, and very easy to do. You could do like on Google Forms or whatever. Very easy to do, and ask your audience to take 2 seconds to do that. Another tip that you could do if you really want to get this feedback, this market research basically for yourself, you could even do like anybody who fills out the survey is going to go into a drawing for an Amazon gift card at $20 or something fun. I don't know what you could say, like bands or a water bottle or a shaker cup or something. You could do something to entice them to, something that's a little more exciting for them to take the time to do this research for you. Now, disclaimer, when you get these questions, if somebody is like answering very short, blah, 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 they might just be doing it for the drawing. So maybe just like, okay, I'm not going to let this cloud my research. I'm not going to pay. But the people that are really detailed in their responses, those are your people that really are taking time. They care. Those are the people you really want. Those are the responses that you really want to pay attention to. Okay, back to the mindset. So those are some ways that you're going to get into the minds of our ideal person that we're attracting, and then also that we're going to be serving, and also that we currently are serving. So the mindset built behind the content. So I remember when I started 15 years ago as a coach, I was very bad, very bad at it. Like I just was eager. So like once I was like, okay, once I got over self-limiting beliefs, and that took a minute, and I started doing doing all these things to help myself realize this is possible for me.
Pretty much off.
That's when I was like, okay, I'm eager and I'm
No,
hungry.
it's not gone off the shirt.
Somebody is unmuted. Let me see if I can just do that. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so once I realized what is possible for me, because again, I was like, I think if you were on here last time I shared my story, I'm from a super small town, no business background, no before and afters, wasn't like into fitness at all. I just was like this little girl from a small town who's broke on state aid, brand new mom, wanted to get fit, was using the products and telling people about it anyway. So like, why not? Why am I not doing this? But I still had no belief. Like I didn't think I was going to accomplish that. And nobody else around me thought I was going to either. because I was just ADHD minnow, that's my nickname, and on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. So duh. But once I realized that even for me, it's possible, because I was seeing these people that were fitness professionals that were successful over here. And then over there was like these people with the huge before and afters. I was none of those categories. Once I started to just share and see a little tiny result, just, I think my first check, which isn't the first week of the coach, I think I was like a month in as a coach, and I got my first check. I think it was $11. I had a house fire. I had this check framed in my office, so I'd be able to tell you the exact dollar amount. But now we had a house fire last year and we lost everything. So that check's burnt and gone, but it was like less than $15. Okay, guys, we're talking little, but I framed that thing. I framed that puppy and put it in my, well, it was in my kitchen table so I could look at it every day, like excited. But then later on, once I got an office, I put it in my office. So I got hungry after that point when I was like, I can see this. I can actually do this. People are actually liking that this is my story. They're seeing, hey, if she can do it, she's Mrs. Girl Next Door relatable. If she can do it, I can too. So what was holding me back is that I was too normal and relatable. And I was like, oh, should I be fake? Should I try to fake it and pretend and be buttoned up and be this fitness professional? Or I can't be fake. How many of you are the struggle with the same thing? You have a hard time yes, it's hard to not be yourself. So why not make it easy and let's just show up online as ourselves. I got hungry after that though. And so I started to maybe spew a little bit. To be honest, I was just like, oh, I just was so excited. I wanted to tell everybody everything. And then I had a mentor talk on a call. His name's Craig Holiday. And he spoke on a call and he started to just speak with such passion and talking about like what the opportunity that we have and that we have, that we're doing every single day. And just saying, do you understand like what this, like think about what this does for you in your life? And I started to think about how as a new mom, like I think my son was 8 months old, so not very new, but for that whole 8 months where I wasn't working out after having a baby and I was working 50 hours a week and I was very unhealthy, I thought to myself, I'd get out of my shower and I didn't even want to look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Because I was unhappy with what I look like. And then I started to work out and I caught a glimpse in the mirror one day. I was like, I don't really hate looking at this as much as I used to, So I'm like, I kind of feel good. And so that moment, when he said that on the call, I started thinking about that moment for me and what that did for my marriage and what that did for me with my son. And then I started thinking about at this point, when this mentor said this, I was like, a couple months into the business, right? And I was able to now take one day off from work. So I was able to take Tuesdays off. I still remember it was Tuesdays and spend time with my son. Then that really hit me when he said that, look what this is doing for you. I went from working 50 hours a week and now I'm able to have a day off with my sons. It was like every other week, a day off. It wasn't every week. And then I had to work on a Saturday to fill the void of that one day. But still, to me, I'm like, I get to spend time with my son that I didn't get to have that before. That's what this business is doing for me. Really small at the beginning. And once I had my mindset, this is where I'm talking about mindset with content and mindset of what you're actually doing day in and day out, is once I had my mind wrapped around what I'm actually doing for other people, I stopped being so annoying and gross and spewing this information. I started to say, hey, I better take this seriously. I better get my messaging right. And I better start sharing the message I'm sharing, better speak to who I am, who I have before I started, and like the whole journey. And so that's what my posts started to be. And at that time I was on Twitter and Facebook and that's it. So I started to just write. I started just write from the heart and share things from the heart about where I was or what I struggled with and how I'm overcoming that, or even testimonies. That's another thing that I really want you guys to write this down. Testimonies. Stories sell, or facts tell, stories sell. And I'll tell you, almost across the board, anytime that I want to buy something, it's because somebody shared it. Somebody shared how it's changed their life, or it's helping them. It was like a real deal testimony. And by the way, when I didn't have testimonies at the beginning, guess what I did? I went and got testimonies from the National Wake Up Call, training calls, Slay Squad calls, your customers, somebody else's customers that shared it. Just, I always would ask, do you mind if I share that? But I would just share testimonies. But what I got really good at, you guys, is being a storyteller. So get really good at figuring out with those questions that I just gave you, figure out how you can be a really good storyteller, figure out how you can talk to people's pain points in your messaging, in your stories, in your reels, in your posts, all across, in your emails, whatever you're doing. Tell a story, try to keep it short as possible. And I'm telling you, that really, really will pack a punch. It really will change the course of the responses that you will get. Maybe not overnight, but show up every single day and be consistent. And when you don't just write something, a post or content, or create a reel and just to do it. That's the old way from before noon today when you got on. That's prior to. From this point forward, we're not just doing it to slap it up anymore. That's just pointless. Why even take your time to do that? You need to, when you are writing your reel, creating your reel and writing your caption in your post, I want you to feel something. I want you to feel, and I want you to visualize your person and who you're talking to, because that is going to make all the difference. Okay, so again, I'm going to read that quote to you again, and then I'm going to show you these reels real quickly. Now I lost the quote, but don't worry, I will find it. I could probably just tell you from my mind because it's pretty common sense. Okay. If somebody says, I don't like creating content in reels, that's truly like saying they don't think it's important to gain new customers to serve. Okay. Marketing content. So when you're doing your marketing correctly and your content creation correctly, you will end up, so it seems like a lot of work right now, but this will end up doing, you guys, when you get really serious and from the heart about creation, what this is going to end up doing is freeing up time for operation. Okay, content creation and putting your heart and soul into it now will end up freeing up time for operation, which is, you guys know, the things that sometimes our reels sit there, we're like, that just took me an hour to create this one reel. I get it, but you're going to get better and better and better at it. And you have the Slay Squad too, and they're so great at their content creation. So you can look to them as well and their trainings and stuff. I think Amy may have did us a power hour call on that, or maybe it was a Slay Squad. Anyways, so we have the tools and the resources. You have everything you need. You just need to tap into it right here and pull your audience. Okay, let me see if there's anything. If somebody is looking, this is just something that I jotted down for myself, but I'm just going to read my notes and hopefully it makes sense to you. If somebody is looking at content creation as lame or not something that will help them, or just seems like a chore that I have to do and I just want to slap something up, yes, they will never grow. When somebody changes the way they see what their daily task is doing for them and for others, they will care more. They will think about the person they want to serve. Just like with sales, if you are chasing a dollar and want to just sell to earn an income, like I just explained how I was doing at the beginning, sell to earn an income, and you don't have the heart and mindset that what you're selling is going to change their lives, then you will never achieve long-term success. Do you know how many people I see on the internet that maybe left the company and they go to this thing because shiny objects and somebody said, oh, this is going to make you so much money, and they leave for money because they think there's success over here because they're chasing the money. What happens is that, and literally a dear friend of mine ended up doing that. And, I actually prayed that it would work out because of course you want all your friends, even coaches I've had leave my team. And I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years. I always pray for them to have success in whatever they want to do, because I don't want somebody who doesn't feel passionate about this to do something that I don't want to make somebody show up to my training calls and show up to do that. Because guess what? When you're creating your content, it's going to show through. But so I always pray for them to work for it to work out, but it normally doesn't. And why that is because they're chasing the money. They're chasing money when there's so much income opportunity right there in front of them, but it wasn't fast enough for them. They didn't want to take the time, whatever the excuse is, right? Somebody else dangled a carrot and was like, oh, it looks easier and it looks more enticing over here. They leave and they usually 9 times out of 10 doesn't happen for them. And it's sad. So when you're slapping up something just to make $1, slapping something up just to say, I got my reel done, or you can tell, because basically if it's in your heart and your heart posture is, I need to sell this, I need to hit Success Club, I need to gain new coaches, people can feel that. So when you're sitting down to create your content, sitting down to write a post, whatever, make sure you feel something here. And you know that my goal, that's why if you guys were on last time, I said, when I set goals, every single time on the top of my page, I said, set out every single day to help as many people as I possibly can without expecting anything in return. And I mean that right here. And I reread that every single day because I reread my goals every single day. That's what I want for you guys. Okay, let me just quickly share my screen. And I'll just share my desktop. I think that should work. Okay. I had to move this over here. Oh, there you guys are on the bottom. Okay. Can you guys see this? Do you guys see a Canva? Can somebody give me thumbs up? Do you see Canva? Okay, cool. Before I press this. Okay. So let's just go through this. Like I said, I created this for something else, but I just wanted to show you. Okay, Reels, I'm going to run through this quickly. Reels do not, just in case you think they do, Reels do not have to have trending audio, have to have lip syncing and dancing, have to say, read the caption below. Those things you don't have to do. Actually, people, I'm not saying these don't have to. It doesn't mean you can't, but I think people are getting annoyed with the whole read the caption below because they're like, oh, they're trying to sell me something. So it's actually maybe test it out to not do that. Okay, reels do have to be brighter in good lighting, but listen, I know when I'm looking at reels, think about what you like. I don't stop the scroll when they're like look like a super professional, like buttoned up business type situation. If it's too much, I like real deal. Somebody's in their hair on the top of their head. Like I like real deal stuff. Or just like walking around their house or walking on their walk or in their car. That's more authentic to me, but I do think that having good lighting matters. So be real. You don't have to get like one of those huge lighting things and have all the things. Be real, but just go to a window. Use natural light. God's given us the natural light. So let's just use that. Okay, use CapCut. So using CapCut can make your life easier. And here's why. You don't have to do this either, but it just makes your life easier because I notice when I'm creating my content on Instagram, there's always, like not always, but I'm exaggerating, but a lot of times there's a glitch. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I don't have time for this. And so then I end up just quitting and like, I'll have to do this later. So using CapCut does help. It's easy to trim. You can plunk all these different videos in there. And then there's another app called Captions app. And Caption app, I don't know that you have to pay for that or not. I know CapCut you can or can't. There's like a free version, not free version, like I have the free version, I think. And then the Caption app, that helps do captions that look different than Instagram captions. You know what I mean? So there you can like design it, have it just so it's more eye grabbing. That's what we want to do. We want to catch their attention. Okay. And we have 3 seconds to get their attention. How can we do that? So we'll get into hooks, but like the captions when you're talking, like if you're a talking head reel, which means like what I'm doing to you, I'm a talking head right now. So if you're a talking head and doing a reel like that, have to have captions because majority of people don't have their volume on. Okay, reels. If you want people to watch your reels, you've got to think like a fisherman and hook them right from the start. A hook is your opening sentence or statement, a few words that are designed to grab attention and reel in your audience, getting them to watch your reel. You got less than 3 seconds to hook their attention. So use these hook ideas to pique their curiosity. So here's some hook ideas. I'll read them to you if you want to take notes. Otherwise, you can just screenshot this, whatever you want to do. Don't make this mistake. I know these are all, a lot of these can be negative, but I'm sorry, that grabs people's attention. So what I do is I'll do like one negative hook and then my next reel, not so negative, because you don't want to have to be like, stop, avoid, don't do this. Cause everyone's like, whoa, she's like really angry. Don't do that. Okay. Don't make this mistake. That would be a mistake. Okay. Stop using blank to blank is another idea. Avoid is another idea. No more blank is another hook. Is it just me, or so saying that at the beginning of your thing, is it just me, or, and then fill in the blank. Watch this until the end. 3 things you need to know, and then give them 3 tips. But what I like to say that, but I also like to put like, you know how you have a title, you'll see people that have like a title on their reels. To me, if I go to somebody's profile and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, there's no, like I'd have to like click to actually, well, I don't have time to click to see what this reel is about. So what I've been doing lately that I found helpful, that when people find my reel, like this one random reel, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go to her profile to see what she's about. And then they go to my profile and they see, then they're going to see what I'm about. Okay, she's got ADHD. She likes Disney. It's kind of weird, but let me keep reading. And then they're going to see what I share. So I like to do a caption that's readable, legible, whatever the word is, from like the little grid. You know, like if somebody's just looking at all my posts, they can read it from the grid. I just started doing that, and I feel like it's helpful because it helps me when I'm looking at other people's stuff. Okay, here's some more. So if you are screenshotting, here's another page of hooks. Here's a secret. Steal this strategy. Stop scrolling. I don't know who needs to hear this. Quick reminder, no one is talking about this. Keep watching. Those are all, those are like, I don't know how many I just gave you, but a lot of hook ideas. This is like a month worth of hook ideas, because you can reuse your hooks as well. I wouldn't do it like back to back to back, but you guys already know that. Okay, reels are where you are finding your person. So here's the difference between reels and stories. And I want you, goes with the mindset of content creation as well. Reels are where you're finding your person, that person who you're going to close your eyes, think about them as you're writing your caption or creating your reel. And growing your followers and community. Now, again, your community, that is what you have to visualize. When you do your visualization, I hope you guys do that. If you don't, you need to come watch my goal setting training, because I'm huge, or listen to my podcast. Actually, there's podcasts upon podcasts on goal setting and visualization, because I swear to you guys, that is why I am where I am. I'm not even kidding. I would visualize myself talking to a group of people that all were like, when you close your eyes and you think of the person you're talking to, I want you to think of when you gain all those followers of your people that actually click with you and that you like hanging out with, and you have this huge team and this huge community. That's what you have to visualize, because that's what your reels, every time you create your reel, that's what you're building. It's like one brick by brick by brick. Each brick is your reel, and you're building all those followers in your community. And it's going to be like so huge. Think of where you're going to be in a year from now. And that's what I want you to visualize. Okay. So take pride in your reels. Don't just post to post. Once you have a plan in mind, message in mind, know your person and your niche, this will become so much easier, which we already talked about. And having a content calendar for yourself helps as well. So whatever your 3 things, 4 things that you're usually posting about, like whatever your brand is, have that be like, think to yourself, take out a notebook and like draw out Monday through Friday of your content. Okay. So I do this on Sundays, by the way. I do all my I do my Sunday prep, I call it, and I plan my week. And part of that planning sesh is my content. So Monday through Friday, what am I posting? What am I posting? What am I posting? That will help you so much, because then you're not like, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday and I have to pick up the kids in an hour. And then Lane has a baseball game. I got to slap something up here. We're not going to do that, because we're going to have a plan. Okay. Stories. What is the difference? This is where you will start be growing and nurturing that connection with your community, the followers that you're gaining. And also this is where you're going to sell. Because once you're building that connection in your stories and just being you and sharing kind of a day in the life, obviously they say now to do like 6 stories a day, 6 to 8 stories a day. So not like the long stuff that we used to do, but still you can still share in a more condensed way who you are, what's important to you, and be sharing helpful tips. Like, I mean, this pen was from Walmart. But you guys, seriously, I'm obsessed. It comes in a pack of whatever, like 10, I don't know. These are the best pens ever. They're from Walmart. But guess what? I told the people in my stories about that. I'm like, dude, you guys got to get these pens. And I explain why I like them. So that's the stuff that you're going to be doing on your stories. It's not just talking about buy my stuff. You need to drink Shakeology. Otherwise, delete me. Not that you guys would ever say that, but you get what I mean. Okay, this is also where you sell. You aren't selling in your reels. Let me repeat that. We aren't selling in our reels. You're just getting people to follow you to build your community. And then once they watch your stories, that's where you can talk about what you're selling. Okay, you want to sell in your stories. Is that it? Okay, wait. Okay, yes, that's it. Okay. Okay, stop share. Boom. Okay, figured that out. Oh, what's your podcast name? I seen the chat until I went to the went to the slides. Obsessed or not interested. Are you guys shocked by the name? Mrs. ADHD over here. I'm either into it or I'm not into it. So it's called Obsessed or Not Interested. So I do have, I couldn't tell you what podcast numbers, but it's one of the earlier ones. There's ones on goal setting, visualization, all the things. And I think those episodes are like 30 to 40 minutes. So listen to me on 1.5, see how that goes for you, because I'm already a fast talker, but that's how I consume my content. I don't know if that's a tip or you guys do that too, but I listen to audiobooks and podcasts on 1.2 or 1.5 so I can consume them faster. Does anyone else do that? Okay, good. I was like, am I a crazy person? Because my kids think I'm nuts. They're like, how can you even understand what this person's saying? You're crazy. I'm like, dude, I don't got time for this. I got to listen to multiple things today. I got to fill my brain. Okay. So what else did I miss? Does anyone have any questions for me? Love these. These seem like really great questions to ask when you're in the process of onboarding. Oh, yes, for sure. For sure. Great questions for onboarding. Again, when we are adding a new, I almost said player to our team because that's the way I see it. I think of like sports all the time. But when we're adding a new player to our team, I want to get to know them. I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know their strengths. Like, for example, my son's in baseball. And that coach, when he's a freshman, so he's never coached them before, he had to see those kids on the field and talk to them and get to know them, seeing what position he wants to play these, where's the strengths, where the weaknesses, because he never coached that person before. Think of yourself as a baseball coach to freshmen, a JV team with new freshmen coming in. You have your team here who are the vets, the varsity team. They know them, you're whatever. But now you got the new underclassmen coming up. You got to get to know them. You got to ask questions. You got to see their feed. You got to see what they're doing. You got to figure out what makes them tick. That's what we got to do as coaches. And then I just got a text from my husband, games canceled. Okay. Lane's baseball games canceled as I'm talking about Lane's baseball. I had to step away for him a second. Was the first slide you shared reels do slide? The first slide was don't. So did you miss the what you should do on reels, Amanda? And also you mentioned Slay Squad. Is that different Facebook group I should join? And thanks so much. Oh, yes. So Amanda, if you're not in the Slay Squad, can anyone pop the link for the Slay Squad in the chat for her? That would be great. Otherwise, message me, Amanda, and I can definitely get you in that group. Because obviously if you're on this, you're part of one of those teams that hosts the Slay Squad. And so you can be a part of that. Yes, think I missed the first slide. Okay. So the first slide was reels don't. So what reels do not have to have doesn't mean they can't have it, but it's trending audio. It is, what was the second one, guys? It was trending audio. I had it, I thought. Okay, guys. Let me reel it in. I might have to go look at the slide, but oh, I can look at it on my phone. And then trendy audio. And then, what was the last one? Let me just look it up. So I'm not thinking, racking my brain. Just give me 1 second. If anyone has any questions, feel free. Lip syncing. Thank you. You don't have to be dancing. You don't have to have trending audio, and you don't have to say, oh, you guys, who put this on here? Christine and Sarah, and then Shannon shared the link. You guys are my people. What would I couldn't even host this if you guys weren't, well, first of all, why would I host something if no one showed up? But second of all, I wouldn't be able to survive without you guys. So thank you. So you don't have, you see all these people dancing around and lip syncing. You don't have to do that. You can, but it's not necessary. Because a lot of people might, like my coaches would come to me and they're like, well, I'm not dancing. I'm like, dude, same. I'm not dancing either. But there are people who dance, and that's great. You need to be you. It's just like at the beginning when I told you guys I was a coach and everyone was a fitness professional or had a before and after, and I didn't. I ran my own race and I passed most of those people up. So run your own race, create content that feels good for you. Do not try to be somebody you're not. That's what I have to say. Be you, be authentic. And then a lot of people will say, blah, 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 and they're real, read the caption. And people are, that worked for a minute, but now people are getting annoyed by that. So you can do it, but you don't have to do it. I think people saw all these people doing it. And so now everyone's like, oh, it has to be that. It doesn't have to be. Try a little bit of everything and see what people respond to the best. That's what I can say. Oh, see? Exactly. You can do it. So Christine said, I just did a lip syncing one and had a lot of fun with it. Made me laugh, made myself laugh. Then that's you, and that's great. And I love that. I love it. I could see myself doing that as well. I just couldn't see myself dancing. Should I do that? Should I do a dancing one just so you guys can see it and we can all be like inside circle laughing at me? I don't even think I could. My face would turn beet red. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. First of all, my son would make me delete it, and he probably has my password, so he'd probably go on there and delete it because he'd be so embarrassed. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna sing with the dancing. I feel so awkward. I know, and then there's people that just are great at it. So if I was a good dancer, obviously I would do it because I would look so awesome. I'd be like hair flipping because I'm so confident. But this is not me. I'm not good at it. So like my type of dancing is like just sitting in my chair, my fingers get going. Okay, you guys are my people for sure. Okay, so is there any more questions as we're sitting here doing the finger dance or chopping the broccoli? This was another one of mine back in the day. Still sitting though, mind you, still can do that. Chopping the broccoli, you can do sitting. I should actually. Wait, what is that called? What were you doing, Amanda? Is that got a name? It's just your dance move. Okay, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. What should we even call it? It's like, I'm trying to think of what we could call this. Okay, anyways, we'll think of it for the next time I host. Okay, you guys, well, this was fun. Tossing the pizza. Yes, tossing the pizza. Okay, love it. Okay, you guys, well, go off and you spend the rest of this time to work and apply these things. And if you don't have enough time to actually create a reel right now, what I want you to do is brain dump ideas. And figure out how you're going to ask your audience those questions so you have more real ideas, but brain dump ideas. Like, okay, because this probably sparks some interest and some ideas, I mean, in your head. So use this time to write them down, because guess what? 5 minutes from now, we're going to forget. Okay. All right, you guys. So if you guys have any questions, you can just go on Instagram. It's at Mindy Wender, or obviously Facebook. It's the same thing. Thank you guys. And I will talk to you next time I host one of these. I love doing these. You guys are so much fun. You're welcome, Shannon. Thanks for coming, Meg and Christine. All right. Have a good rest of your power hour. See you guys next time.